saying Mike Raglan. Are you shorting it up, Rags? Maybe because you dress, you know what I'm saying, you dress cool or whatever. But they be like, hell no. And even when I rant, like I've heard people like jokingly say, "No, you a know it all." Like I don't know a lot of shit. The more that I go and seek knowledge, the more I realize it's a lot of shit I don't know. I know you hating that I'm up. Always 1,000 Michaels everywhere, so just always be able to go Mike Rags, you know, just stuck. That's how I came up with the Rags. My price is gone. You know what time it is, yeah. I love that. Yeah, I tell Carson every time, well, you did your thing with that.
Right.
But you know what time it is. It's your boy Mike Raggs. I'm here with, I was telling somebody the other day, I almost called you SpongeBob.
No, that's fine.
Because they were like, bro, you can't call no grown man SpongeBob. I was like, man, I went to high school with this guy. Like,
yeah,
I've known him for so long. But Jonathan Coates.
What's up, man?
Owner of No Tech Talk.
Correct.
Welcome. I'm glad you came here, man. We've been trying to get this together for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's what I wanted to talk to you about, though, too, because I don't necessarily like doing the virtual like podcast. I like to be in the room with you, feel the vibe, you know what I'm saying, the energy. I think it's just better to be face to face. But I know COVID had a lot of people that I wanted to be guests, like keeping them from like wanting to come and be a person, which I understood. So I know some people were forced to have to do, but I kind of never did it. I just kind of waited until.
I feel it. I mean,
so how do you feel about? Because I see that a lot of yours are virtual. I mean, you have in person too, but
I mean, it's for me when I first started. I just wanted to be consistent. I have tried to draw. I mean, I'm a guy that would like, okay, let's say you was a basket weaver or something. I want to know. I'm gonna research it for like an hour and like what does it take to be a basket weaver, right? And I have to put my all into it to know, like, do I truly suck, or did you know what I'm saying? For real, if I just truly suck it, I can say that because I actually put all the necessary steps, right? I want to play the piano, I ain't got the patience for it, right? So like with the podcast, I said, okay, I get it. I had the quality of everything set up. I just want to be consistent. So COVID here, like you saying, it can't be no excuse,
right? Yeah,
because I have to put my all into this. I enjoy it. But I said I can't let anything like kill it. So like, you know, I think every Sunday I probably send maybe 20 emails out. That's anywhere from Mike to Kirk Franklin or something and they just slowly come in. I had to get myself in like this rhythm because we suck as a human. You know, we just naturally lazy. Like you said, it get cold outside. I'm like, I don't feel like recording, right? And so with the virtual thing as well, it is a bit of a disconnect, but I took that as a challenge for me. I said, okay, well, because a lot of my jobs have been with people. You know, AT&T, I was the guy knocking on doors, selling the little K-bar knives, you know. And I always had to put myself in these uncomfortable positions to speak and to, like, draw information out of people. So that, you know, and half the time they ain't got good audio or, like, you know, you very rarely have somebody with a mic. So I use, like, the iPhone headphones. Right. I said, I'm not going to let that be an excuse. So the first couple I did, I got feedback from what I even asked, like, yo, I know it was virtual and all, but it was a good one. Because then I'm like, okay, let me get outside of my head. You listen to, at the time, T.I. had his podcast out, I think it's like Expeditiously or something. Half of his was virtual. Yeah. So why we put so much pressure on ourselves when a T.I. is still doing one virtual, when Lil Wayne was doing his on Apple, on a TV.
Right.
Club Shay Shay, same thing, right? Yeah. I can do the same thing. But we put so much pressure because we're not at that level yet. So I think as we grow and want to do this thing, because as creatives as we are, we're constantly comparing. I'm walking in here right now, dang, like, them lights, blah, 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 boom, boom. It's besides that, because think about it. Most people go viral on like a day one Android. No picture quality. They just flip a cup or something, million views. So I always look at those videos just to remind me, like, no, like, as long as your content is there, as long as you're solid, the rest of the stuff will.
Yeah. Consistency for sure. I definitely believe consistency matters. But and I think it was just my upbringing. Like I tell people all the time. I mean, people might not, a lot of people don't really. I was telling you this too earlier. A lot of people know Rags.
Yeah.
Even Mike Rags. That's college Mike Rags.
Yeah.
But they don't know Michael Ragland. They don't know the young
government.
man. Yeah.
The
Young man. How I grew up and what I did. But I was often on stage when I was young. And that's aside from sports. So I always performed in front of people.
Like what? What you doing?
I did theater a lot when I was growing up, even just weird stuff. I was in the operatic in my senior year with Ransby, with Altamont. I did an operatic with them. I used to always do these, I guess you would call them recitals, but they were productions. This lady named Jackie Lockhart, she was over the dance ministry at our church.
Yeah.
She also had her own studio in the city, and so every year she would have me come in and do Michael Jackson impressions, James Brown
I remember hearing about that a little bit. Yeah.
That's just, but my point in all that is that how she was very, very, very big on the preparation that goes into the performance, as well as the aesthetics and how everything was supposed to look, flow. So for me, that's more so what I've been focusing on in year one, is really trying to just get how I want it to flow, how I want everything to kind of be formatted, so an aesthetic. So when people come and look at it, they know exactly, like, it's uniform. I want it to be. But that's another thing about consistency too, that I learned. Like, consistency is not just about doing things over and over and over, as far as putting them out, but it's about the little things that you're doing.
People pay attention to that.
Yeah, trying to.
That's the only reason I have merchandise. The only reason.
Yeah, so
you go on the website, and I'm thinking like, okay, cool. Let's say a big time person does come. They gonna check you out before you even say yes, right?
Right.
Oh, he got merch. I got one expensive book bag on there. It's a dope book bag. Don't get me wrong. But that, when you
like
buy
a spray ground.
Huh?
Like a spray ground book bag. You ever heard of spray ground? It's a brand.
Well, no, it's a really good book bag. Got a little cell phone holder. It's got it's padded and everything. Champion book bag, cool little embroidered, right? Okay. But that's the one. They tell you about selling clothes. You got to have one kind of expensive thing on the merch, because the rest of them be regular. But it's always gonna be that one person. Oh no, I want to get the big bomber jacket. Yeah. I'm gonna get some jacket. I think Drake was selling for like $400. It was always sold out. Nobody would really buy the shirts for like $40, $50, but that $100 jacket, $200 jacket, sold out. Yeah. Why is that? Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking like, okay, I'm trying to look the part, because it's all about faking it till you make it. I don't care what nobody says, to a certain extent, until it becomes real. Like, you gotta believe your shit don't stink for a little bit. Nobody ever told you it's my first tattoo. You know what I'm saying? No, you never hear it.
True.
Think about it. And so you gotta like really start to believe in yourself. And even one of my best episodes, I was like super drunk the night before, forgot. Just so happened to have an alarm set. I'm late. I'm trying to drink coffee and stuff, but I had to rely on all the things, like all the stuff I had done. Okay, I had no notes, nothing. So I was legit just going off the hip, and that was one of my best episodes, because I was just tapping into it. It was exhausting for sure. But I said that kind of got me kind of a wake up call. Like, oh, I can do this, but imagine if I just had a little bit more of, like you said, preparation. Yeah. And now we got something going.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing about it. And I was trying to tell you earlier.
My bad.
When you asked me, no, you good. Okay. When you were asking me about what are we going to talk about? Yeah. And that's the response I give everybody who comes on the show. And I guess that's why I try to keep it a rant as much as possible, because that's literally what we do. So I am big on everything kind of being uncensored. For sure. I know when people hear uncensored, they just think of a whole bunch of booty shaking, half naked, just being real derogatory. And it's not that. It's just I really want everything to kind of be raw. Like your opinions, because I feel like this is a safe space. For sure. RaggsRants is my safe space. Even though we put it out there, in here, this is a safe space. For sure. So I feel like I can say what I really want to say. Yeah. And so my point in that is, so when I come in here, my approach is usually off the hip. I have a mental outline in my head. Like, okay, I want to go talk about this. I saw this on social media. Yeah. I'll keep this, or on my close friend stories, I'll ask my people different questions just to see what their response is. Like, okay, yeah, we can kind of talk about this on the show. Because a lot of times when I pull things and I say, well, I had a homeboy, homegirl, it's not necessarily somebody I talked to personally. It's just something that somebody sent.
Yeah, that's what we do. I was just talking to this person the other day.
But it would literally just be a response to a question that I asked on Instagram. But that's how I like that flow, because I feel like it just gives you a more genuine conversation. And because I also told you that I like when people ask me different things too, like Bridge. Yeah, that Bridge. He always got 1,000 questions.
I know, man.
So he did it well, but I like that because not only does it keep it genuine, but it also it gives you an opportunity to say something, mean it, but then since you didn't have a lot of time to try to correct it before you said it or before you expressed it, now we can have a real dialogue about it. And then see, okay, damn, that was kind of ignorant.
So let me ask you a question then. Okay. So I think that, I want your opinion on it. I think that we're constantly chasing ourselves. I've been kind of thinking about the pursuit of how to be great, especially as men, ambition, stuff like that. So we're chasing the best part of ourselves, right? So I'll use us as an example. No tact, right? No tact talk for me. It's pretty much saying I keep it 100. It's a keep it 100 podcast out there. Everybody got this different ways. Rant implies that it might not be something you agree with, because that's my feeling.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So everybody's trying to make themselves, was the Shark Tank word, proprietary. What makes you different than all the other podcasts, right? No, so it's like, do you think that you're chasing a better person of yourself as far as having a different opinion? Because I think you have anybody. If Kevin Samuels can make it, he's terrible. That's about 20% of the stuff I agree with. But he makes it entertaining, whatever. But like, he's still like against the grain, because everybody want to be so politically correct.
Right.
So do you feel like you kind of in that arena? You naturally kind of just want to. That was a lot, but I'm just you know what I'm saying.
I get what you mean. And I say this, as far as how I approach my podcast, is pretty much how I approach, or my show is pretty much how I approach life. In this, while in school at Bama, I was able to meet a lot of Roll Tide. I was able to meet a lot of different people from different places, black, white, other. So I got to be able to learn the way that I was brought up, the way that I think. It means something, but it means something to me. It's my perspective. It's not necessarily the all in all. So once I learned that, I took it upon myself to believe what I believe, but say it in a way, and this was when I was real immature, but say it in a way that it was so direct and it was so controversial that it would get a reaction.
I think that's important.
I was saying things
I can't say that's
to get a
immature.
reaction. But what I've learned over the years is that, because anybody who's been following me on social media for a while know I just started ranting on my Snapchat like in 2017. So I've been just ranting for a while. And some people have come to me and be like, you don't get as raw as you used to. And what I would say to that is that what I'm trying to do now is just be thought provoking. So when I want people to see a Rags rant, I don't necessarily want them to see somebody who's speaking the truth, because it's my opinion. It's my opinion. It's my perspective. But I also understand that there are other perspectives. I don't necessarily believe in a right or wrong when it comes to perspective, because what you believe is what you believe.
Well, people don't know what they believe. That's the kicker.
Sometimes
the two. So they might go to you for one opinion. They might come to me for another. But because they don't have their own, the uneducated, what they call the unpopular vote, the people don't know what they want to do, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They look for other people for their own opinions.
To latch on to.
And it's like 80% of the world.
But what you still have to respect about that is that although what I feel is right, although I feel like this is how it should be done, I can't necessarily tell someone else, even if they don't have their own like moral compass or their own. I can't, cause like I said, I've got to see situations, be a part of situations, be in things that I would probably have never been in if I wasn't like in a what would be a quote unquote bad situation. But the beauty in that situation was that I learned so much that I take with me now. So that's when I started to realize like, oh, okay, good, bad is still a perspective thing, because some people will look at the things that I went through as bad, but I look at them as good. It's kind of like, but
leave it up to interpretation.
But that goes back to the same thing about like my upbringing as a Christian, and that's what I tell folks all the time. They be like, "You still believe?" I'm like, "Yes." Although I'm not as
spiritual, religious,
as I should be, I still believe in those same. Those are what drives me, and that's what I realized. I went out and found my own way, but all those things brought back, because and that's what joy is about. That's what peace is about. A peace that surpasses all understanding. Yeah. You hear pastors say that a lot, and that finally clicked to me when my homeboy, my best friend's grandma passed like 2 weeks ago. She was like everybody's grandma. We all us called her Tuma. And when he called me to the hospital when she passed, I went up there and I saw her like laying in the bed, like she was just laid there lifeless. Dang. And everybody was sad. And then in the middle of that sadness though, I was trying to understand. And then I realized there is nothing for me to understand. And that's when that peace kicked in. Yeah. Like this is a fact of life, is that you come in and you gotta go out. That's a fact of life. How you come in and how you go out and what you do in the meantime is based off, like, you have the freedom to make those choices. But the fact of the matter is, you coming in this life and then one day you going out. Like, there's no way about it. Yep. So once you accept that fact, you kind of get that peace when it comes to certain things like that, on death. But that's what I've learned, that, but how it looked to me was more of like a worldly or earthly idea. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't God that I was thinking about when I was trying to find that understanding. I was trying to feel like, damn, like, he already got this going on with his, with this situation. And now he just lost his grandma. It's just like, oh man, like.
So a lot of stuff, bad stuff happens to people. What do you think about, like, because it's like, man, if God, people always say, I'm like, God can't be real because blah, 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 boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
So it's funny. People want God to be a magical being.
Okay.
But what people got to realize about magic is it's all illusions. It's just there to make you, it give the appearance of. You got to think about it. So you want God to be able to answer your prayers and my prayers, even if they conflict.
For sports teams, yeah.
Right. Or just in real life. Like,
that's a good example, yeah.
Say in life, I'm praying for a woman who I know is not mine or shouldn't belong to me. Like, is God really supposed to answer that prayer because I'm his child? And he's like, you got to think about, like, what prayer is. Prayer is really, and I had a Ozu, Robert Craig.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he broke it down to me one day, and I don't want to go too deep, but it was basically saying, like, big G, little G.
Correct.
The reason why he wants you to say things sometimes is because you're affirming that to yourself. It's just like any other affirmation. So when you're praying, sometimes it's not just about praying to him to make things happen for you. It's also praying to condition yourself to make things happen for you.
Absolutely.
So that's how prayer works. So that's why a lot of people be talking about the Jeff Bezos prayer, the Bill Gates prayer. Them folks probably don't even really believe in God.
What's information?
Their prayer was just, their prayer was literally them speaking it to themselves. Do you hear how they talk about themselves?
Elon
like
Musk,
they are very confident. Yeah. Like, that's prayer. Like literally that's what prayer is. Like self-affirmations. It's just, that's why he wants you to pray out loud too. So it's not just something you're thinking. It's like something that you're affirming to yourself. Like it's just, that's how things work in nature.
That's what I'm saying. We chasing ourselves, but I think we gotta believe in our own hype a little bit. You get to a point, I'm gonna be humble, all that other type of stuff. But I'm telling you, you don't know what it takes to really motivate yourself. I used to be a personal trainer. Used to work down the street with Shannon in the Riviera Fitness and have my own little thing. And I used to my first 2 appointments would be just sitting down. Cause we're gonna work out. Don't eat cake, don't drink liquor, whatever, right? But I said, what's your mental? Cause I can get you in that dress in 6 months, but after that, it's I'm good. I made the vacation. I'm gonna go back and eat. Yeah. So I said, how can I, make this a longevity type of thing? I said, for me, I'm an extreme personality. I was just talking about my last episode. I said I will go in Walmart probably once a month, legit, scream in the produce section. whatever. No Tech Talk believes you, or some random to strengthen that muscle, because that's what it takes for me. Because this can be crippling. As much as I do it, I'm still nervous every time. And so I have to remind myself, like, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I have to force myself in the corner almost every time to be great. So for some, just read a book, affirmation on the mirror, whatever. Yeah. I said, I need more than that. I said, I learned stuff the hard way. I'm just a hard learner, right? So I have to constantly put myself in these extreme positions to be great. So once it's finally time to, do whatever I got to do, it's easy. And so I was telling the same ladies, I was like, and when we're talking to people, because you're an influencer, you're a content creator, people come to you. I watch your store all the time, because even if it's down to music or whatever else, subliminally, he probably got something to say about it. Right? Even with Bridgman, anything dealing with Kanye, I'm probably going to his Facebook page and see what's going on, right? Because it's subliminal, we get it. So like, I always tell people, even on the podcast, like, no tact. It's not like I'm going around just cussing at funerals, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's, you're putting yourself in an environment to have your honest opinion, like what you're doing, unapologetically. I look at it like that. Like, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. It's a very Christian-based podcast, but people might hear me cuss every now and then, or they might legit see me drinking Jack and Coke, my favorite drink, getting emails. People don't know. Oh, I thought you was a Christian. I said, no, I'm living my life. And we had a little sidebar conversation, a whole other thing, but it's by me living my life is where I've been able to see the biggest change. Because now people have something to hold on to, and they realize, okay, what's gonna motivate me? What's my thing? If it's being a doctor, being in communications, a sound engineer, whatever, what's gonna get me up in the morning? I feel like that's the biggest thing. You can't be great until you figured it out.
Right.
You got to know not the stuff we put out in the deepest, like them shower moments, like you looking yourself naked in the mirror, like what I really want to work on, like those type of moments. And it's not enough of that for anything.
No, it's not. It's because we live in a world that is so virtual that we even get into the place where we're finna create an entire metaverse that is virtual called the
It's
metaverse.
Like Ready Player One. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going. What was that show that they used to have that had different episodes? It was not it wasn't like a constant thing. Black Hat or something like that. But they had an episode one time where people literally lived, like how well you did in life was based on your social media.
Oh wow!
Like numbers, yeah. So like, it was all about putting on for social media. It's something you can control. This is what I don't get with people. Is people don't understand, or they understand how they can feel that news and other things are tainted because they're trying to get their perspective through a medium, but don't understand that that's exactly what they do on their phone and social media. From what you put out to what you consume is all about you and what you want to like. So it's going to be framed like you're not going to follow anything that you don't like. So everything that you're going to get on your feed is going to be something that you want to see. Yeah. So it's like we are framing our lives every day. So if what we're consuming is this is what we see, this is what we see, this is what we see from somebody else who is framing what they putting on there, then that means that we're only taking in what we the after we don't get the substance of it. We just get the placebo. It's just like it's there, but it's nothing really. It's nothing in there to actually bag it. It's just something that we see.
Oh, that's good.
So with that, I believe that people have now started to try to live up to a standard that isn't real. It's ideal, but it's not real. So
what's your idea on transparency? How I know we might not get to see Michael Ragland, right? So what's your gauge on that in social media? As far as how much you give
I had
of yourself.
I had to learn how to create a character. That's why I told you. I was explaining to somebody else too. That's why I'm Rags on social media. That's why I'm Mike Rags on social media. And folks are like, oh, so you two different people. No, I'm not saying I'm Kung Fu Kenny and Kendrick Lamar. I'm not saying I'm Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. What I'm saying is simply, or T.I. versus T.I.P. What I'm simply saying is, what you see on social media is only a portion. It's a piece of what I'm a very not gonna say complicated, but I'm a very intricate person. So like, and in order to get to that intricacy, you have to be intimate. And I don't let people in that intimate space.
Why not?
That close, because it's a vulnerable space, and I don't do well with vulnerability. I don't like to feel vulnerable a lot. I'm that type of person. I can be uncomfortable, but not vulnerable.
What's the difference? I'm not trying to keep going off. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you good. Vulnerability means there's almost a dependence on you, or a dependence on something. Like, so if I don't, if like me putting my trust in you, or my heart in you, or my love in you, kind of leaves me dependent on you doing what you said you're gonna do. So I guess it kind of boils down to a trust thing. So I don't trust people to always have my best interest at heart.
I have that problem. I don't know if it's a problem or not. I'm the complete opposite. Like, I give people 100% off rip.
All the time.
And you have to take it off. Oh, you didn't show up on time. That's now 90%. I can't help it. Call it like light skin thing or whatever you want to call it. But I wear my feelings on my sleeves. Like the SpongeBob thing, that came from me being a small little yellow kid. You know what I'm saying? I think at a certain point I had a big afro. Me and what's the girl? I used to call her Sandy, because she started that. Oh man, I'm gonna figure it out. But same person. I think it was the same year. She called me SpongeBob. I called her Sandy, and then legit on my senior jacket, I remember being light skinned. Yeah. Because everybody like, I could see your veins. So I had to flip it. You know, both of my parents probably lighter than me. And so I had to flip it and make it a thing. So by the time I'm leaving, oh, you heard about light skin? It was a popularity thing. And I was in the band. You know, we played in the drum line and stuff. I wouldn't think I was a cool kid, but I always bought in the idea of just doing what I wanted to do.
Right, yeah.
And so I'm always making lemonade. Every year I'm making a different type of lemonade, you know. Yeah. And so it's okay. So I agree to what you're saying as far as protecting yourself, but I always say, hey, if you can go out on a date, I'd rather just have a bottle of tequila in the middle. First date. What's your trauma? What's your daddy issues? What you deal with first? Let's get all that stuff out the way. You ain't gotta have sex. I just ain't got time. Right. To just, all right, we've been friends for you. Let me see if I can give him a little more of Mike. Well, how we switch from this Rags to Mike or whatever else. Right. I don't have time for that. And now it's terrible because a lot of relationships fall through, but now I think I built that callus to where it's okay now. Yeah. But I had to look at myself and like, okay, who am I in general? But I get, it's so exhausting to, let's say you start being like super cool, like, that's it. All right, cool. I'm straight. But it's too much stuff we got to do in this world. So I always worry about, I wonder if he doing this. I wonder if he doing that. Right. That's safe. We both from Birmingham. I get it. Right. You're aware, but I think that's the difference between like, okay, cool. If our friendship really started here just from this podcast, I ain't got nothing against the guy. So why am I automatically putting up walls? Yeah. This is me. No. I get why you put them up.
It's no right or wrong to it. It's just perspective, because I don't feel like that's a wrong thing to do. I just feel like, for me personally.
Oh, I get everything you said.
And I guess it does. It would stem from some kind of trauma. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I ain't no therapist. We get on down that.
That's what I say. It was stem from some sort of trauma, and I need to talk to somebody about that. But I've always just learned, and I tell people, because intimacy is not a sexual thing. Yeah, I can have plenty of sex with a woman and not be intimate with her. Right. Even if the sex is passionate, doesn't mean I'm letting you in to who I am. Correct. Really. That's why I tell you, intimacy is a closeness. Closeness is not a physical thing. It's a bond. It's a spiritual and an emotional thing and a mental thing. So when I tell women that, they just think the worst of me, like, oh, you just using me for my body. It's not that.
First of all, you agreed to this.
Yeah, this is consensual. Don't act like you know. But and I don't lie. I'm usually very, very upfront with my intentions. But I always make sure that I try to explain to them like how I am, because I'm a time release type of guy. So it's like a pill that you take. It works as over time. It lasts you those 8 hours. So as we go forward in time, eventually it would say it's a time thing. It's not necessarily it's a time, and because the only thing that can speed up that time is circumstance. So say if we were into something and you proved to me in that something
solid.
that I can trust it now. It doesn't even have to be nothing made. It ain't got to be about no
nigga
didn't fold on me. He ain't snitch on me.
They call it your core values.
Yeah, it's just something that I like. Oh damn, okay, he was okay. That's something I felt okay.
Because it's surprising.
Yeah,
it is having a real person in your life is surprising. Like I can't trust you because it's you can't trust nobody. It's so funny. I was just in Austin, very super free area. That's where I live at. And I come back to because it's nothing like Dallas or Houston. It's
right,
like,
but I know friends who've been to Austin.
Yeah, it's like the Cali of Texas.
It's like a little tech kind of
free,
tech city,
liberal, whatever. Texas, boom. So I come back to Birmingham, and I remember going to T-Bone's, one of my favorite joints on I think 21st Street, whatever it is, and that man is just so rude. But I was just bust out laughing. I think he's from like the Bronx or something. I said I want I forgot what the menu was. I just know I want pepperoni. Hey, what you want, man? I was like, bro. Cause I didn't even get offended. It was just so funny because I'm back home, And so it's just as you move and learn more about people, it's like it's just the environment that they were in. So something I'm learning as a man is to give people a lot more grace initially, because I'm again like I can't say the way you live your life or you trust people is wrong because you're a product of your environment.
Right.
So that's just your your way. But I'm gonna still show you mine as well. That's the
real.
The dichotomy of the words they say, right?
Yeah,
and so it's like you said, life is all about exchanges. So we're both gonna take something from this exchange and use it whether we know it or not.
Right.
Especially in podcasting, we get deep, quote unquote, deep all the time. But I had to realize one for one what my core values were. What's important to me, not what the world says is important. What's at the end of the day, like you said, what's gonna do it for me to let you know who Jonathan Coast is.
Right.
Because it's weird. You just said my whole name. I haven't been called that on the wax of a video in like years. Yeah. It's usually like Jay. People at work call me Sergeant Coates. My mama called me Marble Eyes because I guess I got big eyes. I don't know. But it was weird on me, and I was just thinking, it's funny you introduced me as that because I'm not trying to be long with it.
No,
I know I go a lot of different places.
Yeah, we got
charged to the ADHD. But I was thinking about the relationship that Jonathan and David had in the Bible. I'm like a mini theologian. I went to school for it and stuff,
Oh, okay.
But to talk about your intimacy point, as they say, some theologians thought they were even in a relationship. That's how close they were.
Yeah.
So to have a covenant, quote unquote, relationship, or to be that close to somebody, I love you, bro. You know how hard it is for me to do? I just picked it up like 2 or 3 years ago. To be so that close, I love you, bro. And then not be like, all right, man, and go.
Weirded out, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's hard for a lot of people to do. So I said, okay, I got my core values. I got my people. I had to do an episode called My Inner Circle. I told him, I said, hey, you my best friend. You know what I'm saying? I already told him, I said, and I'm theirs too, but I told him I didn't care if they were or not. I said, because you're important to me. You hit my core values. And then I was so open, and it was like, dang, okay, you cool. You know what I'm saying? It was like a thing. Because I honestly, and it's going to sound really weird, I don't really care what you think half the time. I tell my wife too. I said, we have an argument. I would rather me be crazy and whatever else, and you get it. Then we go through this whole thing. And I'm sleeping on the couch. I'm going to do it. No, I ain't got time for that. Because people are trapped in marriages, bro, like for 10, 20 years. And they get free one day, and now they worry about family, and I was involved with you. And no, I don't have time for that. I'm just so laser focused because I know who I am. And it's not to say I'm woke or nothing else, but I said I took time to figure out who the hell Jonathan was. Like, it took a lot. Not going on vacations by myself or all the stuff we see, and I'm dating me or all that other bull. But it's like I took inventory on myself. I said, this is what is important to me. This is even you. I think I hit you up first. I don't know. Maybe you did. I don't know. But I said, I like what he putting out. So at some point, I want to work with him. Somebody with 500,000 followers. I just happened to hit up one night. They hit me back, and I saw what they was putting out this time. I said, I don't like it. It would have been great for me. Just did not align with my core values.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to hold true. These relationships that you and him probably have, it's just going to hold true. Just consistency. It's like you being you saying you're going to be, like you saying you're building that muscle. But initially, bro, like, yeah, that's it. You got it all.
Man, I appreciate you for checking out this show, this episode. And if you can, just like, comment, subscribe, do all of that.